Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Best Damn Critic in the Universe. This is episode 12, and I'll be reviewing the film adaptation of Assassin's Creed, the video game. Now, first things first, Assassin's Creed, they didn't make it after one video game. They didn't make it, point by point of the video game. They used the concepts from the video game and made a story that's not in any of the video games. So, basically, in this film adaptation, it follows Callum Lynch, who is sentenced to death for capital murder, and he is saved by the Sturgo Corporation. They did use the same name, and they basically want to unlock his memories, of Aguilar, his descendant, who was an assassin. And they're basically like in the video games. They're looking for the apple of Eden, and basically let's get into characters. So for characters, Michael Fassbender is Callum Lynch, also Aguilar, who is his ancestor, which in the memories that he visits, and he plays a good main character. He he's a very strong action character. Ever since Inglorious Bastards, I knew that he was gonna work well in Hollywood, and he's been getting some pretty good roles lately. And he's not going to win an Academy Award for Best Actor, but he is definitely on his way to an Academy Award. Look for him in the future, Michael Fassbender. So, he is the main character. He's Callum Lynch, and he is Aguilar, the assassin in the memories of Callum Lynch, his ancestor, pretty much. And then we have Marion Cotillard playing what's her name? Sophia. Sorry, Sophia. She is the head doctor, pretty much of the experiment, trying to use the animus to get the memory of finding the apple of Eden. She's the head scientist lady, and then I guess you call him the main antagonist. It's Jeremy Irons, who's Dr. Rickon, who is the CEO of Asturgo, and he is Sophia's father. And so Sophia, or Marion Cotillard, she plays a good role herself. She's a she played an allied, and she plays a good, cold, calculating woman. However, the thing I didn't like was in certain parts of the experiment, it pushed Callum Lynch, or Michael Fassbender, to the brink, and she was trying to tell her dad, "Oh, this, that, we shouldn't push him," and she tried to like feel for him and stuff like that. But I didn't really I didn't really believe it in her. She's not like a nice person. She's always that cold. I'm sure in real life she's a nice person, but in the movies you see her as that cold lady. So they maybe could have found someone with a little more empathy, but the way she talks and stuff, it's like she's just a cold, calculating woman. So, and Jeremy Irons, I love him as he's just a great bad guy douchebag sort of person. He really is. He pushes Callum Lynch to the edge, and he actually does get him to push through the memories. And the other thing I didn't like, they seem to be doing this a lot. I don't know why, but they used to like a lot of directors used to like really build up their support actors because you were invested in them. So it made the movie more enjoyable. Like certain actors, certain directors still do this, or writers, whatever. But recently, I've noticed they didn't invest a lot of time in the supporting actors, and the supporting actors really came into play in this, and you kind of felt disconnected from them. Besides the big three that I mentioned, there was barely any backstory on any of them. Even on Jeremy Irons, there wasn't a lot of backstory. There was some backstory, but not a lot. So they could have really invested a little more time in their supporting characters. Now, let's go on to the story. I like the story. It was a little complex, though, but I like complex stories. And it could be confusing at times. Let me tell you why. Because they didn't really explain the conflict between the Knights Templars, and the Assassins. Like, they sort of mentioned it a little bit. Like, they mentioned who the Assassins were in like one line of dialogue, and they mentioned the conflict in several, sparing pieces of dialogue along the story. So you don't truly understand if you don't know the story. You don't truly understand the conflict. Like me, I've watched, I not watched, I've played all the Assassin's Creed from 1 to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, the most recent one that came out. And I understand the conflict between the Templars and the Assassins. And if you want me to explain it, I'll be more than happy to message you about it. I can't explain it right now. But so if they could have done it like a 5-10 minute montage intro sort of thing, explaining why the Assassins and the Templars were fighting each other, that would make it a whole lot easier. But even you can still understand the concept of the conflict if you pay attention. You have to pay attention in this movie. You can't be on your phone. You can't be doing none of that stuff. So it's a good story. It's complex, but pay attention. It had great action scenes. It had a little bit of drama, but like I said, Marion Cotillard's sort of non empathy, demeanor kind of put a damper on the drama. So, but it had great action scenes. If you're gonna love them. They're so fun. They use the assassin's weapons. They use the hand things with the knives. I loved it. It was great. The action scenes were great, and they were not few and far between. It was a very well-paced movie. It didn't like they had a couple minutes here and there of talking, where like he wasn't in the animus. He wasn't in the animus, basically in the memories. The whole movie. It was like a 70-30 split, pretty much. But it was still, there was maybe 5 to 10 minutes and like 3 or 4 instances. So to be honest, it's like an hour and a half of action and killing and a half hour of like a little bit of talking. So and it's spread out. It's not like in one giant clump and then. So it's very evenly paced. It's not too fast, not too slow. You'll enjoy it. Just remember, they don't do it like fully. So like when they get out of a memory, they fast track to a different memory. So don't think that that one memory, the memory that happened later, happened right after the last memory. Just remember that. So production value. This was the best part of the movie. The production value was phenomenal. I loved it. The costumes, armor, weapons were great, and all the assassins' weapons were on point. I loved it. They stayed true to the spirit of Assassin's Creed. And the camera angles were phenomenal. They showed sieges of Granada, basically the Spanish when the Spanish Reconquista and the Spanish Inquisition. They had great camera angles, like when a battle was shown, they had an overhead view, a wide angle overhead view of the fighting, and they came into the fighting. And then when they were burning some people at the stake during the Inquisition, they did another panning view. And they used this eagle thing, which is like an Assassin's Creed thing. The eagle would come around and the camera would pan with the eagle. It was really cool. So finally, just one thing I didn't like, they got a little crazy with the Spanish Inquisition. Like when they were burning the people, they had like masks, crazy devil masks and stuff, which I don't think they had that back then. But they went a little crazy to show how crazy the Inquisition was. They did burn people. They did do some crazy stuff. So yeah, the production value is great. The camera angles, and when the assassins say we're running, doing their parkour stuff, like they would have underneath, to the side, above, below, behind them, in front of them. And the action scenes were very well. They had them at different angles. It was never in one singular angle. All right. So my final review, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. It was enjoyable. It's not going to win Film of the Year. The plot's a little confusing. Some of the acting was a little weak in certain areas, and they didn't really invest in the supporting cast, but it had a great story, great action scenes, and great production value. So 7 out of 10 is my procedure. And if you like Assassin's Creed, you'll probably love it. If you don't like Assassin's Creed, if you don't even know what it is, you'll still like it because of the pretty good acting and the action scenes and the production value. So this is the best damn critic in the universe signing off. But before I go, please, please, please like and share this video on any platform you have. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Best Damn Critic in the Universe. And follow my Instagram and like my Facebook, The Best Damn Critic in the Universe, so you can get up-to-date news on uploads. Thank you for watching.